So welcome to day 4. Today you are going to build your confidence in such a way that you will be able to understand lots of things, because I am going to introduce two more topics today related to English grammar and the communication skills as well. Okay, why people are not able to communicate effectively, why there is shyness with them, why they are fearful about all those things. Even if you give an interview at that time, when you talk with someone, how to initiate the communication, how to start that conversation, how to reply someone, you are going to understand all those things in a very simple way today itself. Let's go ahead and try to understand these simple things. So I will help you to build your confidence in such a way that you will have this knowledge with you people, and you will be able to understand the important aspect of English grammar. Basically what happens, so many people make mistakes in the basic part, that is nothing but to be and to have, where the tenses are formed. Actually we have learned this thing in lot of detail in just 2 to 3 days. Now next thing that you are going to understand is that whenever you people simply go for an interviews, at that time when you get some questions from HRs or technical questions from any other person, I want you to understand this thing very well. In order to grab the opportunities in interviews, what is very important thing is you need to answer effectively. That is what the biggest thing that I simply want to tell you today. Now next thing, you will be able to understand how you can be polite, how you can be assertive while answering the questions. And there you will understand the importance of request and the permissions that you make. There is little bit different between request and permission. Whenever we will simply go to model part, you will be able to understand that thing as well. So without making any kind of worry in your life, you will be able to understand all those things. And today you will definitely understand the power of asking questions. Now I want you to develop this habit very well in your life. You should be able to ask these questions effectively wherever you go. The moment you can ask the question effectively, you will also develop an art of answering the questions effectively. Okay, that is what the very important thing that we are going to understand. So yesterday I have told you that it is very important to understand all these helping verbs, because these helping verbs will help you all the time. Even if you want to make the negative sentences, they will help you in that case also. So again, I'm giving you the chart itself to simply revise this thing. Okay, and simple present tense, does, do, then definitely you will use it in negative form with contracted form or in a simple formal way. You can use am, is, are in continuous. You can use has, have in present perfect and present perfect continuous. Same is applicable for past also. For past it will be did, was, were, then had, and then had. For all the future forms, definitely we use will. In formal manner we use will not, and in contracted form we use won't. Most of the time people prefer to use these contracted forms. Why? Because it is easy to use, and most of the time you will find people using the same thing. It is not wrong, but in order to make the documentation work, I want you to use these normal forms without the contracted forms. Just avoid the contracted forms. Okay, next part. Now how the questions are formed in English language. So there is simple construction that we have learned. Again I'm coming back to the same thing, subject, verb, object. On day 1 I have told you that I will tell you this thing repeatedly. Why? Because it is an essential thing to understand this thing in a very simple way. Okay, now we have also understood that subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus object, this is also another type of construction that we are going to understand very well. Now next thing, what is this next thing? What is this arrow? This arrow is indicating that subject is going in place of helping verb, and what is the next thing? Helping verb will come in place of subjects. So we are going to exchange a position of subject and helping verb, and what will happen because of that? You will get a new structure. That is nothing but helping verb come first, then subject, then main verb, and then object, and you will give the question mark. And what is this? It is nothing but yes no type question in English. We can easily design yes no type questions by simply making this little change, by taking helping verb in the beginning and then subject. We'll definitely see lots of examples for this. Don't worry about it. So just try to understand the construction. What I'm doing here, I'm simply exchanging the position of subject with helping verb and helping verb with subject. As you can simply see this with the arrows. Now second thing, if I want to make a question with WH type, again I will simply go with the same construction, subject, verb, and object. Next, subject, helping verb, main verb, and object. What happens to next? I'll simply exchange. It will become yes no type question, and next to that I will simply use any WH word as per my requirement with this construction. So my new construction becomes WH word, then helping verb, then subject, then definitely main verb and object. The remaining pattern will be as it is, and you'll use the question mark, and that is nothing but WH word that you are going to understand. Simple thing. WH type questions are made in this way, so it's a very simple construction to note it down. Okay, I hope you have understood this thing very well. Let's move on to understand the questions for this thing, the examples for this particular part. Now, before that, I want you to understand different WH words. So you know all the WH words. So these are common 7 WH words, basic things that you can simply consider. What? In order to get some kind of information, you need to use what. In order to get to know about the location or place, you will use where. In order to get the reason for something, you will use why. In order to know something about the way or methodology, you will use how. In order to use any particular choice, which, it is necessary to use common noun in combination with which. For example, which book have you read? Anything according to your requirement, with which you need to use this particular common noun. When, to show the time. Who, to ask about the person. That is what the simple thing that you can use this 7 WH words. Now, not only this, you also need to understand there are certain useful WH phrases. For example, by whom, for whom, to whom, with whom, from whom, between whom. So these are the most useful phrases that you can use as per the requirement. I'm just giving you this thing in terms of the tables. Okay, again, how many, how much, you can use this thing with countable if you want to say how many. If you want to say how much, it will be useful with the uncountable thing. At what time, how long, how often, again, which, I have mentioned the same thing. You can use this thing as per the requirement again. Next, how come. Now, how come is something where you do not understand the actual basic construction that we have learned. That basic construction is WH word, helping verb, then subject, then main verb and object. How come is a common phrase that if you simply want to know, I will simply come to meet you tomorrow. How come? How come means how will you come to meet me tomorrow? That is what the simple thing that you can simply understand. It is not possible. Why? Because I'm not at home and you are not, you do not have leave or something like that. This is what the same thing. You can simply say the statement, I will not attend the examination tomorrow. How come? You have to attend the examination. It is very important to attend. So how come is such a construction and such a phrase which is commonly used in order to say something in terms of question mark, to understand what is the way. Now, whose, definitely it is useful. How far, how else, for what, and in what way, in what purpose, in what manner. This is how you can simply add these WS phrases to make simple sentences. Since when, where else, from where, how else, who else, about whom. Many useful phrases are there, but again, it depends on the use, how you are going to utilize them in your own life. That is what the important thing is. Now, let's make these sentences in a very different way. These are the 6 set of sentences that I have shown you in the slide. Now, first, what we are going to follow is, we are simply going to follow these 6 important constructions. Okay, these are simple sentences that you have already read, you have already understood them very well. So first, it will be positive statement. Second, it will be positive yes no type question. Third, it will be positive WH type question. 3 things are important. First, positive statement. Okay. Second, it will be yes no type in positive way. Next will be WH type in positive way. Next to that, they will be in negative format. Negative statement, negative yes no type, and negative WH. Let's try to understand all of them. I'm going to make all of them in all the useful 6 tenses. Simple present, present continuous, present perfect. 3 from present. Simple past, past continuous. 2 from past, and simple future. Okay, these are the 6. I'm not using had plus V3, that is past perfect form. I'm just not using it because it is not much useful in that case. So this is what very important thing. You attend the class. Now, what is the helping verb? Do. Just go to the previous part, check the helping verb, that is do and does. For singular, we use does. For plural, we use do. This is the thing that we have learned previously also. So I'll just make the sentences. You attend the class. Yes, no type will be, do you attend the class? Its WH will be depending on the WH word that you are using. When do you attend the class? You can make a statement. Where do you attend the class? How do you attend the class? Why do you attend the class? Okay, when do you attend the class? Depending on the requirement, you can use any WH word. Okay, now see, next negative sentences. Here I am using the WH sentences, WH words, but make sure that whenever you make the negative sentences, use the correct helping verb. There are so many people who make common mistakes. They do not focus on understanding. this specific helping verb of that particular tense, and they directly try to make the statement, which is not possible at all. Okay, so you don't attend the class. Don't you attend the class? Why don't you attend the class? A very simple statement that you need to make. Why I'm telling you to make this kind of sentences? What is the purpose behind this trick? What is the purpose behind this hack? Now remember one thing, whenever you speak at that time, it is very important to make practice of making these questions automatically. It should be automated. I want this thing should to be developed automated with you guys. Okay, even if you make the mistake, that's okay, but the next step should be CCA, conscious corrective approach. You should be able to understand the mistake and you should correct the mistake quickly at that particular moment. That is what very important thing. In the meantime, that while you will practice all those things, it will definitely help you in that case. That is what an important thing that I want you to understand in this particular topic. Okay, next thing that you people can easily understand is for present continuous. How you are attending the class? Are you attending the class? When are you attending the class? Tell me, I'll also attend the class. You aren't attending class. I have seen since last 2 days you aren't attending class. Aren't you attending the class nowadays? Why aren't you attending the class? What is the reason? See, the way of making this question is same, but the questions are made in present continuous now with the same methodology. When you simply train your mind to make this much kind of sentences quickly with understanding, you will be able to make your mind flexible. Your thought process will become flexible and you will be able to make the sentences easily without any kind of efforts, right? Now next thing, what is this next thing? Present perfect. As that I have told you, our sequence is very simple: 3 from present, 2 from past, 1 from future. Okay, now present perfect. You have attended the class. Now what happens most of the time? Most of the time, when we simply make these questions, we are very much aware about making the questions which are simpler to use. Okay, for example, how are you, where are you going, or something like that. But whenever it comes to make these questions in this particular tense, that is nothing but present perfect, we do not get these questions easily in our mind. We do not form them easily. We face difficulties to form these sentences. Why? Because for most of the people, these kind of sentences are not practiced. And what is the language learning mechanism? That your mind should have at least made this kind of questions once, so that they will be utilized automatically. They should be at least stored, they should be registered in your mind in such a way that once you make them grammatically correct as a part of practice, whenever you will utilize the same knowledge next time in your life, it will help you to understand quickly without any kind of trouble. That is what the beauty of understanding English grammar. Okay, so let it be slow learner, medium learner, or fast learner, those people who already know that how those people who already speak good English, for them what happens is that whenever they simply try to draft some kind of thing in terms of documentation work, or when they simply try to speak in English with formal approach, they often are not confident about all those things. So even if you have that knowledge, you are not aware about it, you have that inferiority complex. I want you to completely kill that inferiority complex, and I want you to be confident whenever you will document something, whenever you will do the documentation word. Okay, that is what very important thing is. Everything is documented well by you people, but you are not confident. Yes, this is the thing that I am doing. So here I want you to generate that confidence that yes, I know this thing very, very well. There is nothing wrong in that. And remember one thing, while writing so many things, you get lots of time, you get help from so many things. But when you speak at that time, it's a spontaneous thing, it happens quickly. So for that purpose, this is the methodology that I'm telling you to practice all the time. You can simply have a cup of tea, and with a cup of tea also you can practice this thing in very simple way. Okay, you have attended the class. Have you attended the class? When have you attended the class? You didn't tell me. Now the action is completed, but you are showing the effect in present. So you have attended the class. Okay, this is the thing that you can see. Now observe my sentence very well. So you have attended the class. When you have attended the class, people make this kind of questions. When you have attended the class, no, this statement is grammatically incorrect. You should say, when have you attended the class? When you see the statement, when you have attended the class, it becomes an open statement, it becomes an open clause in English. You cannot start statement like that. When you have attended the class, it should be when have you attended the class. So that's why I explained you that structure, that helping verb should be first, then subject, then main verb, then object in order to make yes no type question. Okay, so many people are confused that they simply make that rhythm, that intonation, depending on that rising and falling tone, they simply try to make that as a question. For example, you have a pen. Now what I'm doing, I'm not doing anything here, I'm simply making a statement. You have a pen. Now this is the gesture that I'm making. This is the rising and falling tone that I'm using here. No need to say that way. What you need to say, do you have a pen? It automatically comes as a rhythm and you simply make a statement in a very simple way. That is what an important part that I want you to explain here itself. Okay. When have you attended the class? You haven't attended the class. I know that I asked you to attend the class, but you haven't attended. Haven't you attended my class? Why haven't you attended my class? Same structure, but the way of asking the question is very important. That is what you are going to understand in simple way. Now let's go for simple past. In simple past, what you need to understand is we use v2 in the major statement, in the main statement, but what happens with another thing, that is nothing but we use did in the beginning and then we use that attained. We do not use attended here itself. There are people those who make common mistake. Did you attended? No, wrong. It is not like that. It should be did you attend. Did you ate? No, it is wrong. Did you eat? Remember this thing. In order to make negative statement also, you didn't attended, it is wrong. It should be you didn't attend. That is what very important thing is. Okay, so you attended. Did you attend? Why? When did you attend? Simple thing. You didn't attend. Didn't you attend? Why didn't you attend? Simple thing that I have simply mentioned. So you can practice in this particular way. Now let's go for past continuous. Same way, you were attending. Were you attending? When? Where were you attending? You weren't attending. Weren't you attending? Why weren't you attending? Make sure that the pronunciation is not was where. It is was were. Okay. Now for simple future, it's very simple thing to understand. Now for present perfect also, I have just given you this thing for information point of view, but usually we do not make it. We don't use it. You had attended. Had you attended? When had you attended? You do not usually past. You do not usually talk about the past thing most of the time. Instead of that, we focus on understanding the things which are completed, but we are simply reflecting them in present form. So you can simply make the same scenario here to make that statement easily. Okay, but make sure that we use present perfect most of the time. You need to understand this thing by understanding the contextual manner of this statement so that you can understand this thing very well. If you are purely talking about the past things and writing about the past events, then you can use this thing. There is nothing wrong in that. For example, last month I clearly remember you had attended my sessions. Now in this case, I'm reflecting about the action that is completed in the past and it is reflecting in the past. In that situation, you can use this thing. Okay, simple future. Now simple future is nothing but will plus v1. It's a very useful thing. Why? Because will is the only helping verb we use here. Negative form is won't, or you can simply say will not. You will attend the class. Will you attend the class? When will you attend the class? You won't attend the class. Won't you attend the class? When won't you attend the class? How won't you attend the class? Why won't you attend the class? Again, depends on you how you are framing a question, right? So simple things are there, not much difficult things. Now, in this way, you can simply understand this thing very well in order to ask questions effectively in your life. Okay, without wasting the time, let's go ahead to understand this modal auxiliary verbs. Now this is another second point that I simply want you to tell you about understanding the importance of grammar here. Now what are the modal auxiliary verbs? So many people are not aware about the correct uses of modal auxiliary verbs. Even I have seen that little children that they simply make the request in informal way with the seniors also, with elders also, which is absolutely wrong. Okay, so I'll just clear that confusion also. Why you need to make proper, formal and polite request in your life. Now, in order to understand the modal auxiliary verbs, what is important thing that you need to understand? These are supporting verbs to your main verb. Their function is very simple. What is their function? As we use helping verb in the statement, we use modal auxiliary verbs to show something different. Okay, not as usual tenses. So basically tenses are not enough. We also need this modal auxiliary verbs for some special purpose. Okay, so let's try to understand. So most of the time when we speak in English, we don't use tenses, but we also need to use this modal auxiliary verbs to specify a particular meaning. Again, you will have the clear understanding These are the model auxiliaries specifically that we use for different purposes like suggestion, ability, possibility. Okay, let's try to understand them in a very quick way, in a very simple way. Okay, with more productive way. That is what I will simply tell. Now, what is the statement pattern? Again, I'm way of following. Definitely, my statement will start with the subject and end with the object. But in between that, the most important part. Here, what I'm using model auxiliary verb with V1 only. When we talk about them, I'm telling you very basic form. That is nothing but use it with V1 form of the verb most of the time. I want you to observe this thing. Whatever the knowledge that I'm giving you guys, don't accept it blindly. Try to remember one thing, that whether it is really useful in your life or not. I'm 100% sure that every single element that I'm teaching you here in just 5 days, you will see that everything that I have taught you is nothing but a part of your real life. You can easily reflect these things in your life automatically if you simply watch these videos carefully. If you simply follow this task that I'm giving you every single day properly, you can easily verify this information, you can easily utilize this knowledge in your life. And remember one thing, having knowledge is not important at all. You need to apply this knowledge in your life in order to see all those things. For example, if you're writing something, I want you to check all these things. You need to check proper tenses, you need to check proper helping verbs, you need to check prepositions, whether you have used them accurately or not. You need to also check proper uses of articles that I have covered in previous days. That is what the important part that I'm telling. Okay, so this is the simple construction that we can simply use with model auxiliary verb and V1 form of the verb. Now let's move ahead. I can speak English. This is my ability. So I can show ability by using this. I want to give suggestion or any advice to you people. I should speak English. I can simply say a suggestion to myself. Then it may rain today. I can simply say in this way. We can also say in the same way that I used to play cricket in 10th. We are going to understand them in more detail and in more deep way. Now see, one by one we are going to look at them. First is nothing but can. When we talk about can at that time, what is the first use? It shows the ability of the subject in present. Whatever the speaker is there, whatever the subject that we are using, it will show the ability. Ram can speak English. I can speak English. You can speak English. We can speak English. In order to show the ability in present, you can simply use this particular model verb, that is can. Second thing, you can understand that for casual request and permission. Note, I'm telling you here that it is a casual request. It's a casual request. It's not formal one. I will highly recommend not to use this particular thing. Why? Because it is disrespectful sometimes with your elders or seniors. You can simply say, I want you not to use this thing. Very, very simple to understand. I'll tell you about some request and permissions, how we make them. So here by the time, just remember this thing. Next, you can understand for casual request. There is difference between permission and request. We will simply see after this particular part. So can you give me a glass of water? Again, it's a suggestion that is to you people that you should not use can. Why? Because it is an informal request. And when we talk with seniors, when we deal with our clients at that time, we do not use can. In terms of can I or can we? Remember this thing very, very well. Next, you can simply understand that is could. It is the same thing that we are using about the can, but the difference is nothing but can shows ability in the present and could shows ability in the past. For example, Dr. Jagtap could take the meeting. He was able to take the meeting, but he could not take the meeting. That is what the use of could that you can simply consider. For formal permission, now here I want you to use this thing in your life most of the time. All the time you can even simply use this thing. For example, could I ask you the question? Could we ask you the question? It looks more formal than can. Okay, then in order to make the request, could you give me a glass of water or something like that? You can simply use this thing. We'll simply look at this particular thing later also, but I want you to understand this thing simply. Can, ability in the present, could, ability in the past. Now next thing, should. When I want you to give some kind of suggestions and whenever I want to give some kind of advices. Now again the question will be there. What are the suggestions? What are the advices? There is hairline difference between them. Okay, so I can simply use this thing in this way. If I want you to give the suggestion, you should read every single day. You should improve your listening skills. So I may call it suggestion, I may call it advice. It depends on me. I want you to give you a suggestion. I want you to give you an advice. You can simply use should for that particular purpose. You can simply do these things in a simple way. Now, most of the time we give suggestions to so many people. You should do this thing. You should do that thing. I want you to use should if you are giving suggestions to someone else in this way. Okay, simple thing. In order to provide feedback also, we use this should very, very well. use this thing in a very simple way. If you are working at some senior level, at manager level or something like that, simple thing to understand. Next, that is nothing but must. Now must is something more necessary. We call it compulsion. We can simply say must. What is the must? It is nothing but to show compulsion in the present form. You must practice every single day. You must feel the 4 slot activity at least by finding time for 10 to 15 minutes every day in order to find out amazing sentences in your life, the most useful sentences from your real life. That is what the use of must, to show compulsion in present. Now next to that is has to and have to. Now there is nothing different in has to and have to as well as must. So both of them are useful to show compulsion in present way. Must, have to and has to is the thing that can be used to show compulsion in present. Now how the compulsion can be told in past? By using this had to. Had to is nothing but a model auxiliary verb to show about the compulsion in the past. What is this compulsion in the past? That you can simply say that it's a very simple thing, that I had to complete the project. That is the compulsion in the past. We had to work every single day. That is the compulsion in the past. So the compulsion that was made in the past, you can simply use had to. In order to say any compulsion in present, you can say must, has to, or have to. Understood? Simple thing to note it down. Now next part is nothing but may. Then what is may? In order to show possibility of something with maximum aspect, maximum possibility of something, you can say may. For example, if it is early in the morning at 7 a.m., I can simply see that the atmosphere is something cloudy, and I can say it may rain today. That I feel that there is maximum possibility of something that will rain. I can simply use may in that case. Second thing, that is remote possibility. Okay, for remote possibility we use might, and for minimum possibility we use could. Now what is this might and what is this could? We have already seen could, but now try to understand this might. Might shows remote possibility. What is meant by remote possibility? I just gave you the example that it may rain. It may rain means it is maximum possibility that I am feeling today. I can feel right now at 7 a.m. in the morning that it may rain. When I say at 12 p.m., it did not rain now. Now the situation is different. It did not rain and it is 12 p.m. in the afternoon. What I'm telling you right now, I'm simply telling you one thing. It might rain. Now 50% is gone. So what I'm telling you, it might rain. When you say might rain, it becomes remote possibility. And the chances of happening that particular thing becomes 50-50%. And you can simply say it might. That is what the same thing. Now next, in the evening, I waited the entire day and I came to know that it did not rain at all. So in that case, what I can say, like I was thinking that it could rain today. Okay, it could rain. I mean, what is meaning of this thing? It could rain. It could rain means it was possible that it could rain, but it did not happen in the entire day. It didn't rain in the entire day. So what I can simply tell in that case, it could not rain. It could rain. So it is not possible. So it's almost zero possibility. So always remember, may is useful with maximum possibility, might is useful with remote possibility, and could is useful with minimum possibility. Right? Simple thing to understand. Now, next is nothing but used to. When do we use used to? Used to is used in such a way that you simply provide past habit by using this thing. When you want to say something about your past events, now whenever you want to say something about the past events, what are the useful things? These are the useful, this is the most useful model verb that you can simply say. Used to. What is meaning of used to? It shows the past habit. For example, you can see the sentences, I used to speak little English in school. When I was in English, when I was in school, I used to speak little English. I used to do exercise when I was in school or something like that. When I was young, I used to do exercises. I used to make little mistakes. I used to go to school. I used to wake up early in the morning, but right now my day is very hectic. I'm not able to wake up right now. So whenever any habit that was continued into the past and now it is not continued, it is discontinued. So you can say in other words also, to indicate discontinued activity or habit, you can use this used to. So these are the most useful model auxiliary verbs that you simply need to understand. Okay. Now basically the most essential part that I want you to apply immediately in your life, that is nothing but requests and permissions. When we talk about request and permissions, I want you to understand this thing very, very well. What is the request and what is the permission? Now, When we simply understand this particular statement to second person, we always make request to second person, and we always ask for permission to using first person. Now you can simply see the examples. Okay, here also you will be able to see the same thing. Can you tell me your name? I'm requesting you. Would you please help me with some details? I'm requesting you. But this statement, can I go to play cricket for some time? This is the permission that I'm asking. Shall I come tomorrow to meet you? Again, see two more examples. Could you give me a glass of water? Very much important. It's a formal statement. Next thing you can consider, may I join this session after some time? It's a more polite way to ask in this way. So always remember, permission comes with first person, request goes with second person. Okay, and always remember that you need to use this could instead of can. When you use can, it looks little bit rough, it looks little bit disrespectful to second person. It may be a senior person or something like that. So make habit of using could in your life in order to sound more polite, right? In terms of permission you can use the same thing. In terms of request you can use the same thing. May I is the most common way, most polite way. Could you is the most polite way. You can simply say, even if you say could you please, would you please, that is also fine. It's your choice which is suitable for you. When we talk about this thing, these are the common ways that you can simply follow, that I'm simply indicating here. Remember this thing. These are the simple things. These are the combinations that you can have in order to make the request. The first one that I have indicated using can is not highly recommended, but remaining three and remaining two, these are highly recommended. For example, could you plus v1, you can simply say could you come with me? Okay, will you go and bring me a glass of water? Okay, would you tell me some important information about the project? I will be able to understand more things. You can say in that way. Now can I and can we, not recommended. It's a informal permission that you can simply go. Okay, it's an informal request that you can simply say. Okay, if you say may I or may we, that is also fine. There is nothing wrong. Shall I and shall we, I want you to use this shall I and shall we. Most of the people do not even use it, and you always wonder that how can I use this thing. So there are many people that they haven't used this thing in their life, but I want you to use this thing. I want you to try this thing in your life in order to register some beautiful sentences, some most useful and impressive sentences in your mind. Unless you register all those sentences, unless you make those sentences on paper or while writing somewhere, you will not be able to apply this thing confidently in your life. This is how you generate confidence. This is how you develop confidence. And there is lots of information available itself. You can utilize that information. But in order to understand that thing, I want you to take care of this grammar part first, the basic and the fundamental part. So these are all important aspects that I'm telling you here. Now, next thing that you can simply understand, as I have made 6 sentences by using those tenses, I can even make them using this model auxiliary verbs. Okay, the sentence is very simple. You can attend the class. Can you attend the class? How can you attend the class? You told me that you are not going to attend. So how can you attend right now? Now, you can't attend the class. Can't you attend the class? Don't you have time? Why can't you attend the class? You need to attend it. You should attend it. See, I'm using the modal verbs. You must attend it. Now, once I'm able to convert one single statement into lots of sentences, my mind will become more flexible. I will have that ability to think quickly, rapidly, and that is how I can build confidence in my life. That is how I can improve fluency in my life. That is how I can bring accuracy in my communication. Okay, there are so many things, and don't worry about making mistakes, guys. We are human beings, we are bound to make mistakes. My simple suggestion to you people, even sometimes it so happens with me, even if I was in 9th or 10th standard or 12th standard or in my graduation, when I used to speak in English at that time, there were higher chances that I used to make mistake while speaking, but I used to correct myself quickly, that I used to understand, yes, I have made the mistake here, I need to correct it. Don't feel anything different that you are making the mistake and then you are correcting yourself and you are simply go ahead. This is the journey of developing your language. Okay, and if you practice it in such a way that you are able to understand the grammatical aspect of it, you will easily master your communication skills in a very simple way. And when you simply draft your emails at your workplace, when you have that client communication at your workplace, at that time, what is this important thing? I want you to utilize this knowledge that I'm giving you in very simple way, which will help you to understand in easy way. That is what important thing that I'm simply telling you, right? Now let's move on to understand another thing, that is nothing but could. Now positive statement, simply you can make it, you could attend the class. Now here it is indicating the past ability, but when you say could you attend the class, it becomes a simple request that I'm requesting you, could you please attend the class today? It will definitely help you to understand some things in very simple way. How could you attend the class? You told me that you are not coming, but you are attending the class. So here I can use in that way. You couldn't attend the class. I saw that you told me that you are not able to attend. So you couldn't attend the class yesterday, but today you can simply attend it and you can get some information. You can say simply say in that way. Couldn't you attend the class? Again, it becomes a negative statement, but it's a polite request that you can simply make. Why couldn't you attend the class? Again, the simple statement according to your requirement you can go. So it is all about understanding your concern, your thought process. That's why I'm saying that requirement again and again. Okay, because you want to speak English. That is what very important part is. You want to write the information, and I want you to utilize this thing very well. You can simply make the same 6 sentences using this shall. We shall go for a walk. Shall we go for a walk? Why shall we go for a walk? Very useful sentences that we should use, but we do not use. I want you to use them accordingly. The construction is a little bit different. I have used formal way. We shall not go for a walk. Shall we not? Now see, note down here. I'm not saying shan't we. If you simply make the contracted forms, then you can use that combination with helping verb and the negative word not. But here, shall we not? Why shall we not go for a walk? In this way, you can simply make that statement. Now, next part is nothing but modal auxiliary verb should. Now, what is this thing? You can simply use in the same way. We should we, why should we? We shouldn't we, why shouldn't we? Simple thing. In short way, I have told you this thing very well to understand this thing. Now, let's move on to understand the most essential part, that is nothing but let's make 84 sentences by using one single statement. Are you ready to make this 84 sentences right now after understanding this thing? You can definitely make these 84 sentences with me right now. It's not much difficult task. And tomorrow I will help you to retain a entire thing with mind mapping technique, and even I will also share that mind map sheet with you. We will start from the basic statement pattern and we will end up to this 84 sentences. This is what the amazing task that I'm going to tell you. Okay, you can retain so much of information. So now I'm just showing you the statement here itself on the screen, and what you people can do is I will simply keep my pace simple. It won't be much faster that I have just made, but I will simply tell you the type of tense and I will tell you accordingly you need to make the 6 sentence. But you need to remember one thing. First, we are going to make positive statement, then positive yes no type, and then positive WH, 3 sentences. Then negative statement, negative yes no type, and then negative WH. We are going to try this thing for every single statement, for models also and for tenses also. Okay, so before that we are going to make the 12 positive sentences just to warm up. You know that you have made these 12 sentences. I have seen your responses on the group. It's amazing, guys, that you are taking these efforts to fill the full start sheet and everything. I want you to do it. So now first we will make the 12 tenses positive. I will simply make speak for you people and you are simply going to understand them. Next I will make negative, and then what I will do, I will try to make this 36 sentences, and then remaining sentences 24 sentences for that model part. I will use this selected 4 model verbs. Now the statement is very simple. What is that statement? The statement is you speak English. Simple thing. Now what is the sequence that, guys, I'm following? I'll simply use the 12 positive sentences. Now 1 2 3 start. You speak English. You are speaking English. You have spoken English. You have been speaking English. You spoke English. You were speaking English. You had spoken English. You had been speaking English. You will speak English. You will be speaking English. You will have spoken English. You will have been speaking English. 12 positive sentences. Very simple. You have already learned them and I have just spoken them in front of you. Negative sentences. You don't speak English. You aren't speaking English. You haven't spoken English. You haven't been speaking English. You didn't speak English. You weren't speaking English. You hadn't spoken English. You hadn't been speaking English. You won't speak English. You won't be speaking English. You won't have spoken English. You won't have been speaking English. Simple. 12 negative sentences. So now we have made 24 sentences, 12 positive, 12 negative. Now it is time to make those amazing 36 sentences. It will help you to improve your communication in such a way that even if you have mother tongue influence, that will also be easily eliminated if you practice in this way. Why? Because your lips, your tongue, your throat muscles, your jaw, every single thing is practicing these particular sentences which are most useful in your life, and you can try it with any other sentence. Now let's move on for 36 sentences. Okay, now you speak English. Do you speak English? How do you speak English? You don't speak English. Don't you speak English? Why don't you speak English? Present continuous. You are speaking English. Are you speaking English? Why are you speaking English? You aren't speaking English. Aren't you speaking English? Why aren't you speaking English? Present perfect. You have spoken English. Have you spoken English? Why have you spoken English? You haven't spoken English. Haven't you spoken English? Why haven't you spoken English? Simple thing. Now, simple past. You spoke English. Did you speak English? Why did you speak English? You didn't speak English. Didn't you speak English? Why didn't you speak English? Now, I was speaking English. Was I speaking English? Why was I speaking English? I wasn't speaking English. Wasn't I speaking English? Why wasn't I speaking English? Past continuous is also over. Now simple future. You will speak English. Will you speak English? Why will you speak English? You won't speak English. Won't you speak English? Why won't you speak English? 36 sentences are over without making lots of trouble in a very simple way. Now, remaining 24 for 4 modal auxiliary verbs. I will use shall first. Okay. You shall speak English. Shall you speak English? Why shall you speak English? Okay. You shall not speak English. Shall you not speak English? Why shall you not speak English? Next, can. You can speak English. Can you speak English? How can you speak English? You can't speak English. Can't you speak English? Why can't you speak English? Next, could. You could speak English. Could you speak English? How could you speak English? You couldn't speak English. Couldn't you speak English? How couldn't you speak English? Okay, simple thing. If you want to make using would, you can usually make using would also. Now I will make them using should. Why? Because it is useful to simply show suggestion or advices. You should speak English. Should you speak English? Why should you speak English? You shouldn't speak English. Shouldn't you speak English? Why shouldn't you speak English? Now I have easily finished those 84 sentences right now in front of you. I did not see the time, but you can easily see the recording and you will be able to see the time. So hardly it doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to make these sentences easily in your life. That is what very simple thing that I'm simply help you to understand in terms of mastering these English grammar topics, all the grammatical topics. Now what we have covered parts of speech, very important thing. We have covered the second part, that is nothing but tenses. We have covered them in positive aspect and in negative aspect. Third, we have understood the practical uses of tenses. Almost 7 tenses are very useful. We focus on them only. We do not focus on unnecessary things. Then today you have practice questions, yes no type questions and ws type questions. That is what very important thing is. Now you have also understood how to use modal auxiliary verbs in order to simply understand their practical uses most effective way. Very important thing. You should not use can. You should always use could. The reason I have told you very well. It is a formal practice that you simply need to follow. You have understood prepositions. You have understood articles in order to remove that fear in your mind, from your mind. Very simple thing to understand, right? I just want you to practice in such a way that you will take maximum benefit of all the knowledge, all the value that I have given you in these 4 days. Okay. So I want you to make these 84 sentences by simply taking one statement. Enjoy this process. You will definitely like it and you can easily understand this thing very well. And I'll just tell you about the task that you simply need to take. Now, What I want you to do is I want you to simply complete these two important tasks. What are them? Take any statement and make the useful sentences using model auxiliary verbs. I have explained you 10 model auxiliary verbs. I want you to make one or two sentences according to your own thought process. Take any specific verb and make 36 sentences using the tenses that I have simply told you. You can use 6 sentences. Even if you are able to make 84, you can simply make those 84 sentences also. This will really give you a grip on understanding all the grammatical concepts. That's it for the day. Just complete these two tasks. I'm just leaving this two tasks behind for you people. I want you to complete them and get the maximum benefit of all those things.